So this brings us to number 14 on the list, Uber Research. Up to this point, I've been primarily talking about nonprofits or communities. But now I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and the remainder of the items on the list are tools and startups. There's a lot of activity in this space right now, and there are some really interesting tools being created with some very specific functions. So what I've done is group these into categories with a number of examples for each one. The first category is funder decision tools. I only have one example to show you today, that kind of tool, but I think this could be a growing area of development over the next couple of years. Uber Research is a small company that builds decision support systems and information tools for science funding organizations. In addition to the obvious technology piece of this, they also use a consortial model to connect different funders, and that allows them to coordinate and align their approaches. Uber Research is also the newest addition to the digital science portfolio. Since several of the tools I'm going to mention going forward are portfolio companies in digital science, let me just say a quick word about that. I'm sure most of you are already familiar with the work that digital science does. They're an early stage investor and incubator of scientific software startups that they support and invest in spin-outs and startups coming from the research world. Back to Uber Research, what problem for funders is it trying to solve? One problem that all funding organizations have in common is what research projects and researchers do we invest in? And equally important, how do we reliably make that decision? Equally important are identifying things like conflicts of interest and double funding and tracking funding trends. These are typically very time-consuming tasks for funders. For smaller funders, there's also a need to level the playing field in terms of the capacity to gather and analyze information for decision-making. The Uber Research solution is a technology called Dimensions. It's a cloud-based shared solution that expedites portfolio analysis and planning. It can also compare funding applications and can identify similar research or similar grant proposals. The company's also developed a tool called Uber Wizard for ORCID. It's a free and open service for researchers and funders to add grants to ORCID, another collaboration in the ecosystem.